Okay, so here's the agenda for today. We're going to talk about and go over some social media platforms. There's actually over 50 different social media platforms out there, but we're not going to talk about all 50. Obviously, that's crazy. A lot of them aren't very popular, so that's why you probably haven't heard of many of them. But we're going to talk about the big eight. Okay, so we're going to just cover the big eight, but there's more than, like I said, 50 social media platforms out there. We're going to talk a little bit about basic marketing for social media. And then, like I mentioned, Facebook and Instagram are two of the biggest social medias out there. So I'm going to give some tips for Facebook and so some tips for Instagram. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about how to make social media easy for you in terms of like posting and kind of managing the content that's on there. And then a little bonus at the very end is for those that want more training beyond what I'm teaching today, I will talk about how you can get access to additional training if for those that are interested in that. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so quick intro about me. So because many of you probably don't know who I am, or this is the first time you've attended one of my presentations. So I want to do a quick intro about me so you kind of know who I am, who's the teacher, and why should you even listen to me, right? What makes me qualified to even teach, right? So yeah, my name is Stephen Lee, and I actually have a business called Stephen Lee Studios. I'm actually a full-time photographer, videographer, and educator. And yeah, I've been, like I said, doing this for 7 years now on my own full-time. And it's been pretty fun, but it's not always been smooth sailings, I guess, being an entrepreneur. For those that are doing this full-time, you know what I'm talking about. I'm actually from Saskatchewan. Yeah, so born in Saskatchewan. And then moved to Alberta to go to school. I actually wasn't always a photographer. I actually started out as an engineer, so I had the day job, kind of the 9 to 5. Did that. Went to university for 5 years for that, and then became an engineer and did that for about 9 years. And then while I was doing that, that's when I kind of got into photography, and I did that as a hobby in the beginning for about 4 years. Just kind of took photos while I was traveling, so did like a lot of landscape photography when I was just a hobbyist while I had a full-time job. And that's kind of my start into photography. I even shot somebody's wedding. Somebody just asked me to shoot their wedding. I said, nah, I'm just a landscape photographer. I've never shot a wedding before. And they really insisted that, like, I've seen your work, Stephen. They're good. You'll do a good job. But I'm like, no, I shoot landscape. I don't shoot people, and I don't shoot weddings. But he really wanted me. I'm like, fine. And I basically had 2 months to learn as much as I could about how to shoot a wedding. And I actually didn't screw up the wedding. So here's one of the photos from that wedding. Then while I was working as an engineer, I got laid off about 7 years ago when the price of oil crashed. And then that is actually how I got into entrepreneurship. I decided, hey, I need money. There's not a lot of work for engineers right now. So I'm going to start a photography business because I actually made some money from photography, like shooting that wedding. And I'm going to do that until I find another engineering job. Well, I actually never got an engineering job. I decided, screw that. I don't want to go back being working 9 to 5, working for someone else. I want to be my own boss. So I'm like, let's see what I can do with this, right? And then for the first 2 years of my business, I became a everything photographer. So that's kind of a word that I came up with. And basically what everything photographer is, I just shot a little bit of everything. Did a little bit of everything just to pay the bills, right? Because I had a mortgage, I had, bills to pay and loans and all that good stuff, right? So I did families and weddings and couples and headshots and real estate. Did a little bit of everything. I even shot some babies, did some photo booths. And then, yeah, while I was doing that, I wasn't really making a lot of money. I was actually spending more money than I was making because, like I said, I had a lot of bills to pay. And yeah, things weren't that great for the first 2 years. And then after that, things started to change. I started to meet photographers that were they were very successful doing it full time. I met entrepreneurs that were very successful. I met mentors. I joined a business community called BNI and surrounded myself with other successful entrepreneurs. And that's kind of how I transformed from being a part-time photographer that was, just kind of barely getting by and constantly in the red every month to like being actually in the green for once. and making a full-time income. And then now I mainly do commercial photography and videography. So things like product photography, food photography, headshots, real estate, lifestyle photos for business. Here's a quick behind the scenes of a clothing shoot that I did. I also do videos, like I said. It started that about 2 years ago, and I mainly do commercial videos. So like business promo videos, YouTube videos, educational videos, things like that. I also love teaching, and how I got into teaching was I would go around taking photos with my friends, and I noticed they would have a DSLR camera, but then they would be shooting on auto. And I'm like, do you know that you're spending all this money on a nice camera and you're just shooting an auto and there's so much more you can do with it? And that's how I kind of got into education. And so I decided um, to teach my friend how to use their camera, how to shoot in manual. And that's how I got onto the educational journey, I guess, and realized I love teaching. And then from there, I started teaching more photography workshops, like shooting in manual, editing workshops, composition workshops, flashes and portrait workshops. And then I also, again, I love teaching, and I knew that I was running a business. So I decided to run some business workshops like Instagram, Facebook, how to start a photography business, how to sell your photos online. So yeah, that's kind of a quick who am I in a nutshell. Um, so yeah, let's get started. So the first thing we're going to talk about today is social media platforms, okay? So we're going to start with the quiz. Can someone tell me, just type in the chat box, what are the 8 most popular social medias out there? If you don't know all 8, then type as many as you can think of. Okay, we got Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. Okay, that's 4. What else do we got? We got Snapchat. Okay, that's 5. We got YouTube. No, we got YouTube already. Flickr. Okay, yes, I guess it's a photo sharing site. We have Twitter. Okay, that's 6. Pinterest. That's 7. Okay, Reddit. I guess, yeah, Reddit is a social media platform. LinkedIn. Perfect. Okay, I guess you guys got them on. Good job. I did this with another group of students, and they think most of them only got, collectively, they got about 6 out of 8. But you guys, congratulations. You guys actually got 8 out of 8. So yeah, the 8 biggest social media platforms are Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Snapchat, Pinterest, and TikTok. Okay, so what's the difference between all of these? So some of you aren't familiar with maybe all 8 of them. Okay, so I'll do a quick overview of what they are. So I feel like most of you are familiar with Facebook, right? Facebook is like the most dominant social media platform out there. Basically, it's a way for you to connect with friends and family and other people, right? You can see what they're posting. If they post something, you can see that on the feed. And then beyond that, you can get into groups. You can create a business page to promote your business. You have marketplace, right? So there's a lot to Facebook. And then you got Instagram. Instagram is a mobile and visual based social media. It used to be a photo only social media, but now it's photos and video. Okay. Twitter is a text-based social media, so text only, and I believe it's 140 characters per post. LinkedIn is similar to Facebook, but for business instead. So with everyone on LinkedIn, when you look at their profile, normally they'll tell you who are they and where do they work. So you can learn about people's business information through LinkedIn. And it's great for businesses to connect with other businesses. YouTube is a video-based platform. Snapchat is a video-based platform, but the videos that you post only last 24 hours. So it's similar to stories for those that are familiar with stories on Instagram and Facebook. You post something on Snapchat and it disappears after 24 hours. Pinterest is a visual-based platform similar to Instagram, but for your desktop. Okay. And TikTok is also a video-based platform, and it's mobile. But with TikTok, it makes it easy for you to add music, add text, and also to cut up your videos and combine them, like slice them up and combine them into one bigger video. So that's what TikTok is. Okay, so that's a quick overview of the different platforms. Okay, so now that we talked about the big 8, right? Which one should I use? Okay, so first I'm gonna give you some more information about the different platforms. And once you have more information about the different platforms, that will help you decide which one you actually should use. Because a mistake that a lot of people make, especially people that are new to running a new business, right? Or new to social media, they decide they're going to be on all the platforms, right? They're going to be on Instagram, they're going to be on Facebook, they're going to be on Twitter and LinkedIn and YouTube and Pinterest, right? They're going to be on all the social media platforms. Don't do that. Ideally, what you should be doing is you should pick one social media platform, okay? Like one dominant one. You can create multiple profiles on multiple platforms just so you can grab your username, right? So let's just say, my company name is Stephen Lee Studios. So maybe I'll grab my Instagram handle, my Facebook page, and maybe my YouTube channel, right? Just so I have them and no one else can have them and steal them, right? But then you want to pick one that you want to be really, really good and invest in, basically, right? Make it your dominant social media. And you want to learn as much as you can about it and spend the most time on it, okay? Because it's better to be really, really good at one social media than to be okay or average across 3 or 4 social media, right? Like I mentioned, my friend, she has 400,000 followers on Instagram, right? Would you rather be the person that has 400,000 followers on Instagram or only 1,000 followers on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, right? Because she went all in on Instagram, right? Posting every day on Instagram for like 7 years, I think. And that's how she got to 400,000, right? Because she went all in on one platform. Okay, so let's talk about a little bit about the different social media platforms out there, okay? And a little bit more information about them. So as I mentioned, Facebook is number 1, okay? They have 2.2 billion users. Can someone guess what are 3 more social media platforms in the top 4? So which other 3 will be in the top 4 based on users? Type your answer in the chat box. What do you think? Carmate says Instagram. Yeah, that's correct. Jean says YouTube. That is also correct. It's not Twitter. Okay, you got 2 out of the 3. Chioma is correct. TikTok, actually. So that's why you need to pay attention to TikTok and not ignore TikTok. YouTube is number 2 at 1.9 billion users. Instagram is number 3 at 1 billion user. And like I said, TikTok is number 4. And TikTok is relatively new in terms of being mainstream. It's only been mainstream for about 1 to 2 years now, and it's already at 500 million users. And Instagram has been around for like over 10 years for sure, right? And then to round up the last 4, you got Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, and Pinterest around that 250 to 300 million users, okay? So that's why, like I said, today we're going to be focused mostly on Facebook and Instagram, because for photographers, YouTube doesn't make a lot of sense. It depends on what you're trying to do, right? If you're trying to reach people from around the world, then YouTube makes a lot of sense. But if you're trying to reach only local clients, then not so much in terms of like going all in on YouTube. Doesn't mean you shouldn't be on YouTube and posting some videos every so often. Okay, and then here's some more information about the different platforms, okay? So I have the ages, like in terms of the dominant age group for each of the platforms, and also if it's male dominant or female dominated, okay, for each of the different platforms. So you can kind of see Facebook, it's mostly 25 to 35 is the dominant age group, and it's a little bit over 50% when it comes to male to female ratio, so a little bit more males on there than female. YouTube is a younger crowd, about 15 to 25. That must be all the gamers that are on there, gaming YouTubers, right? And it's about 50-50 when it comes to male and female demographic. Instagram is also pretty young, 25 to 35. A little bit higher on the female to male ratio. TikTok is a younger crowd, 18 to 24, and also a little bit higher on the female to male ratio. Twitter is a bit of a middle age group, right? 30 to 50, and also male dominated, or at least more dominant there. LinkedIn is about also an older age group, so 46 to 55, and it's about 50-50 male to female. Snapchat is a younger crowd, more females on there, and Pinterest is an older crowd and a lot more females on there than male. So now that you kind of know some more information about the different social media platforms, right? You want to ask yourself, okay, who is my ideal client for my business, right? And once you answer that question, then you pick the social media platform where your ideal client hangs out, okay? So for example, let's say, like for me, right? I focus on business owners, right? So for me, LinkedIn makes a lot of sense, right? Because it's mostly business on there. But I'm also on Facebook because everyone that has a business is run by a person, right? And those people also hang out on Facebook, right? And so then for me, I'm going to be on LinkedIn and Facebook, right? And I could also be on Instagram too, I guess. But yeah, and let's just say, I have a friend, and let's say she does boudoir, right? And she's targeting females between 25 to 35. So then looking at this, that person should be on Instagram, Snapchat, and Pinterest. Actually not Pinterest because they were not ideal age group, right? So yeah, Snapchat and Instagram, right, is the two places they should be, and maybe TikTok, right? Well, maybe not TikTok, sorry, they're too young. So yeah, Instagram and Snapchat, right? So again, ask yourself, who's my ideal client? What are their age? And what is their sex, if that matters, right? If you're targeting a specific sex. Then pick that social media platform to be in, right? But then there's a second thing you need to consider. When you're picking what social media platform you're going to use, you also need to ask yourself, do I actually enjoy using that social media platform? Because let's just say you decide TikTok is where my ideal clients are, but you hate creating TikTok videos, right? Or you hate creating videos in general, then you shouldn't be on TikTok, right? You should find another social media platform that you also enjoy using. Because if you hate creating content for it and don't really understand how to use it or hate using it, then you shouldn't be on there. Okay. I'll tell you a secret actually. So a lot of times people will say that if you're a photographer, you need to be on Instagram, right? Because it's a very visual based social media. Personally, I actually hate using Instagram because most of it is done on your phone, right? It's very mobile based platform. And I hate spending a lot of time on my mobile because first, when I do photos, right, I'm editing on a computer and it's sitting on my computer. I hate having to have to transfer the image from my computer to my cell phone, and then to write text on a cell phone is really hard, right? To write large captions. So there's a lot of resistant for me to use Instagram, and I actually don't use Instagram a lot. Yet I'm making six figures without Instagram, basically. Like I track my numbers every month, and I think I only get like one or two clients from Instagram. And then everything else I come from ads, come from Facebook, come from other ways that I do marketing. So yeah, so definitely, like I said, don't pick a platform simply because your ideal clients are there, right? Also ask yourself, do I enjoy using that platform? Okay. Okay, so next thing I want to talk about is social media marketing basics. Okay, so this is a sales funnel for those that aren't familiar with this. This is basically how you convert someone that doesn't know about you or your business, and basically turn them into a paying client. Okay. So there's 4 levels that they need to go through, right? Or basically a little funnel. Step 1 is awareness. And awareness just means they're aware that you exist, right? So for example, do you ever, watch things on TV like sports, or you're out and about and you see just random company logos plastered anywhere and everywhere, right? Like companies would pay a lot of money just to have their logo like on a billboard, or on the side of a hockey rink, or on people's shirts, like like sports players on, right? Why are they just plastering their logos everywhere, right? They're not doing it to get you to buy anything, right? Because I'm not trying to sell you anything. All they're doing is showing you their logo, right? The reason why they're paying a lot of money, right, just so they can plaster their logos everywhere, is so that you become aware of their business. So when you see them again later on, and you're ready to buy potentially, or you're shopping around, you'll be like, oh wow, I remember that logo, right, or that company, right? And so big companies know about this, and that's why they spend billions of dollars just to have their logos plastered everywhere, and they're not selling you anything at all, right? There's nothing for sale, right? Um, okay, so step 1 is being aware that you exist, right? And then step 2 is leads. Leads are basically people that might buy from you, right? So, for example, as I mentioned, I'm a commercial photographer, right? So, and I target businesses. So basically, leads are only business owners for me, right? Anyone that's not a business owner would not be a lead for me. They could be aware of my business, but they'll never be a lead because they will never buy from me because they're never a business, right? A business owner, that is, right? Okay, so that's a lead. So someone that could potentially buy from you. And then a prospect is actually someone that wants to buy from you, right? So they either send you an email, send you a text message, send you a Facebook message, Instagram DM saying, hey, I noticed you do blank. How much do you charge for that? Right? Or, hey, I noticed, you have this thing going on. How much is that? Or when are you available? Right? That's a prospect, right? They're actually serious about buying from you. And then sales is basically convincing them to buy from you, because you're not the only one doing that service, right? So, for example, let's say there's a restaurant and they're looking for a food photographer, right? They might not just be like asking one photographer, hey, how much do you charge for food photography? They might be asking 3 photographers, how much do you charge for food photography? So then sales becomes, how do you convince them to go with you versus someone else, right? That's all sales is. Okay. So yeah, so kind of talk a little bit about that, right? Awareness, they learn about you. Leads, they're probably going to follow and engage with you, right? People that are actually potential clients. A prospect would be someone that would actually reach out to you to learn more information, right? And then number 4, hopefully some of them will want to buy something from you. Okay, so when it comes to social media marketing, it's all about numbers. Marketing is just, you need to understand your numbers. If you do not track your numbers, then you don't have a strategy at all, and you're just winging it, right? And I know when I was new to social media marketing, right? I was like that. All I would do is randomly post things and hope that somebody will reach out to me and say, hey, Steven, how much do you charge for, headshots or family photos or whatever, right? I didn't know what my numbers were, right? I just simply post it randomly and hope somebody would reach out to me and say, hey, how much do you charge for this, right? If you know your numbers, then you have more control over how much business you're actually going to get from social media. Okay. So this is an example. This is like a theoretical example here, right? Let's pretend this business for March, that they have an Instagram account, it could be even Facebook account, right? And there's 1,000 followers on this account. They post 10 times that month, okay? And they noticed they got about 200 likes and comments between the 10 posts. And they had 5 people reach out to them about pricing, right? And they were able to close 2 of them and convince 2 of them to buy from them, right? So these are their numbers for March, okay? Okay, now it's April, and you want to get 2 bookings. What do you do? Can somebody tell me what should this person do? to get 2 bookings for April? Type your answer in the chat box. What should they do in April to get 2 bookings? Christine is correct. Just simply do 10 posts again, right? Obviously, the numbers become more true over a longer period of time, right? So, ideally, you maybe want to track your numbers for 3 months instead of 1 month and then average it, right? But let's just say they were doing it for 3 months and they notice every time they do 10 posts, they get 2 sales. So if they want 2 bookings in April, they just do a 10 more posts. If they want 4 bookings, in theory, they just do 20 posts, right? They just increase the number of posts, how often they're posting, right? Again, in theory, right? So marketing is actually really that simple. But again, you need to track your numbers, which is what a lot of new entrepreneurs don't do. Okay. Including myself when I was starting out. Okay. Yeah. So do 10 posts and they get 2 sales. So again, if you do it again, hopefully you get about the same results, right? So can we agree that having more followers also equals more sales? Do you guys agree? Say yes in the chat box if you agree. Christine says no. Wow, everyone says no. I'm surprised. Okay. It's actually true. Okay. More followers actually equals more sales. Okay. Just in terms of like if it's a direct like if the ratio is exactly the same, it might not be. But generally, more followers also equals more sales, right? Because every time you post something, you're going to actually have more people seeing it. Okay. So in this example, right, we had on the left hand side, you had somebody with 1,000 followers. They did 10 posts and they got about 200 likes and comments. They got 6 inquiries and they got 2 sales. But for the exact same number of followers, right, let's say 6 months later, they got 2,000 followers. They also do 10 posts and they actually got double the inquiries and double the sales. Now, can we agree that more posts equals more sales? Like if you post more often, it will increase your engagement and in theory lead to more people buying from you. Chioma says yes. Okay. So you're correct. Again, it might not be a direct, like it may not be like the ratios might not be exactly the same, but definitely when you post more, you're also going to get more sales because people are going to see and become aware of you more often, right? And the more they see you, the faster it is for them to actually buy from you, right? So again, in this example, we have somebody that did 10 posts, right? 1,000 followers, 10 posts, they got 6 inquiries and they got 2 sales. Next month, they decide to do 20 posts instead, but still have the same number of followers. This time they got 12 inquiries and 4 sales instead because they increased the frequency of their posting. And it basically involved more touch points with their followers and increase how quickly they decide to buy from you. Now, another thing too we want to consider is your content. The content just means what you're actually posting, right? Like the photo, the video, the captions that you're using, because the better quality of the content that you're using, the more engagement you're actually going to get, right? The more that people can say, hey, that's so cool, and they're going to comment and like, and more people are actually going to see your post, right? So when you have more better content, you're going to get more engagement, which also equals more sales. So here in this example, right, we got two examples here. We exactly same number of followers, exact same number of posts that month, but for one of them, they used better quality images. And because they used better quality images, they got way more engagement, right? 400 versus 200, which again leads to more people seeing it actually, right? Um, because likes and comments, um, there's a relationship between likes and comments and how many people actually see your post, right? And then, which also again would lead to more inquiries and more sales. Now, the last thing to get more sales is to be a better closer, right? And that's just where you need to learn you need to learn sales actually, which we're not going to be talking about today. But again, if in 2 months, right, one person had 6 inquiries and they didn't really take any courses on sales, they were able to close 2 out of 6. But the month after, the person decided to take a class on how to learn and take a little class on sales, and they were better at talking to people, and they were able to convince now 4 people instead of 2 people to work with them. So here's a quick summary, right? So the more followers you have, the more sales you're going to get. The more you post, you're also going to increase your sales. Having better quality photos, videos, and captions or your content will also help you increase your sales. And then also being a better closer. So now I actually want to ask, because you guys threw me a little bit of a curveball today. Why do you think that having more followers does not lead to more sales? Does at least more followers lead to more engagement, like more people liking and commenting on your post? Okay, yeah, Glenn is correct. Yeah, having more followers means you'll have more engagement, so more people like and comment, which will, again, lead to more possibility of sales, right? But there's a lot of factors, obviously, right? But definitely, would you rather have 1,000 followers or 2,000 followers? Probably the latter, right? 2,000 followers. Okay, so we're going to move on. So now we're going to get into some tips for Facebook and Instagram. So I'll start with Facebook. Okay, so tip number 1. So the first tip I'm going to share with you guys is how to get more followers for your Facebook business page instantly. So for those that have a Facebook business page, right? So this is kind of what mine currently looks like right now, right? For my business. And a way to get more followers like instantly or really quickly is you want to go into the little 3 dots in the middle right or top right. Okay. If you click on the 3 dots, you see where the little red arrow is, right? It will give you more options. Now click on that and you'll have a little pull down menu or a pull up menu, I guess in this case. And then you'll see something that says invite friends. Okay. So you want to click on that. And again, when you do this, you want to be, I know Facebook recently changed things around where you actually have 2 accounts now. You have your personal account and your business account. Make sure when you're doing this, you do this as your like your personal account, not as your business account. Okay. And then what will happen is you'll have access to all your friends, right? All your friends that you have on your personal account. You basically hit the check mark on the right hand side and you can send them all invites, right? You can basically say, hey, check my page out and like me back, right? And if they know you, right, they're probably going to be like, oh yeah, I totally want to support you. and I'm going to like you back, right? And follow your page. So this is actually a great way to get a lot of followers really quickly. Just leveraging your current friends list. Because what will happen is when you hit the check mark and then hit send invite at the bottom, they're going to get a little notification saying, hey, you've been invited to follow this page, right? And then they can decide yes or no if I want to follow the page or not. So yeah, so this is a really great way to really increase the number of followers on your business page. Okay, tip number 2, how to generate leads with your personal page. So leads basically are just people that might be paying clients, okay? So a great way to kind of promote yourself on your personal page, I'm gonna give you some tips. So there's actually 7 ways to promote yourself on your personal page. So there's your banner, your profile picture, your bio, where you work, your social media links, your website link, and simply just posting. I'm going to walk through all these 7 areas. So kind of help you kind of show you where they are and what you can do with them. So I'll start with the banner, profile picture, and bio. So this is what mine currently looks like right now, my banner. Now on here, there's actually 3 things that you can play around with. So the first one is your banner, okay? So you can definitely use this to promote your business if you want, right? You can change it to like a company banner if you want to do that, right? You don't have to, obviously, because it is a personal page, and you don't always have to um, turn it basically to make it look like a business page, right? But you could leverage that and post something about your business if you wanted to. For me, I'm promoting a little group that I have called the Unstoppable Photographers. So if anyone's curious about that, they can click on it. And what will happen is like the image will show up. And then on the right-hand side, you can add a little caption to it. So I included a little caption to go with it. And then I basically have a link saying, hey, just launch this membership. If anybody wants to check it out, click this link and learn more information, right? So that's a great way to, like, again, one way to generate some leads for your business if you want to leverage that. There's your profile, okay? Make sure if it's your profile to have an image of yourself, because again, people want to know who you are, right? Because this is a personal page. So you should include your headshot in there. But the way that you kind of maybe promote a little bit about what you do is to include an object that lets people know what you do. Like, for example, if you're a photographer, which I think most of us are, you can include an image of yourself with a camera in your hand, right? Then every time you're commenting on something and it has a little icon of yourself and who's leaving that comment, they'll see you with a little camera and they'll think, oh wait, you're a photographer, right? And some of them might be like, oh hey, I've been looking for someone to do baby photos or photos of my kids or whatever, right? And then the third section where you can kind of talk a little bit about yourself is in this little bio section here, right? You can add some text to talk a little bit about yourself. Again, it doesn't have to be purely about business, right? For me, I just kind of talk about who I am as a person, right? So for me, I just say, hey, I'm a photographer, but I'm also a videographer, a marketer, and I also love adventures, right? And then you can also include a link if you want, right? Some people will do that. For me, I just say, hey, if you want to learn more about me, click this link, right? So you definitely can leave a little link to your website if you have a website or whatever you want to link to. Or you just simply say, who you are as a person, right? If that's all you want to do. Then also on your personal page, you have the intro section, right? Where again, this is another way to talk a little bit more about you and who you are and what you do. So that's going to be on the left-hand side of your personal profile. So this is kind of what mine looks like. And if you look on the left-hand side, you'll see a little section that says intro, right? And if you look a little bit closer, this is kind of what mine currently looks like. So you can definitely leave a little bit more information about you, right? Like, for example, the briefcase is about where you work, right? You can include your social media links, like my Instagram link and my website. So yeah, right there, that's where you can say, hey, I work at blank, right? If you have a photography business business page, you can link to your business page, right? If you have a business name, you can put that there. If you don't have a business name, but you want to get, paying clients for photography, you can just say, you know, CEO at photography or at my photographer, something with the word photography in it, right? Um, Again, you can have links to your social media. So I'll have links to my Instagram for those that want to check out my Instagram, and then have a link to my website, right? For those that want to check out my website. And basically, to change this information, you just click on the edit button at the bottom, right? Edit details, and you can update that information. So now, anytime somebody checks out who you are on social media, on Facebook, right, they can learn a little bit more about you and what you do. And then lastly, obviously, it's just simply posting on your personal page. Okay. Now, when you're doing that, again, this is your personal page, so don't constantly be posting about work, right? Because this is not a business page. But work is part of what you are and what you do, right? It consumes, a certain percentage of your life. So you should definitely talk about work from time to time. But then you should also talk about other things, right? Like if you like to travel, post about traveling. If you're a mom or if you're a dad, post about being a mom and a dad and post photos about your kids. Or if you have a dog, you have a cat, or you play sports, whatever your hobbies are, right? So post those plus, work related stuff, right? And just kind of mix it up. Keep it, again, personal. Okay, I saved my best for last. My best tip on Facebook for last. So this tip here is on how to increase your post's reach by 25 times on Facebook. Just give me 1 second. Okay. Okay, so yeah, like I said, saved my best Facebook tip for last. So this little tip is on how to increase your post's reach by 25 times, which is insane. So anyone that's doing business on Facebook probably has a Facebook business page, right? I do too. So recently I did this post and I posted this. I was taking some photos of a tiny house and I posted it on Facebook on my business page. And this is what happened, right? Here are my numbers. I have 1,400 followers, and then it's pretty much crickets in terms of engagement. I got 3 likes, 0 comments, 0 shares. Pretty brutal, right? Like who even saw this out of the 1,400, right? Did like 10 people see this or something, right? And the reason why the reach is so low, or yeah, the reach is so low and engagement is so low, is because I'm posting it on a business page. Facebook wants you to, Facebook's in it to make money, right? They're ultimately a business themselves, right? And the way they make money is, one of the ways they do anyway, is to leverage businesses and make them pay to promote their business, right? So they want you to boost this post or to run ads to promote your business. And they don't want you to get a lot of reach and not really want to like run ads on Facebook, right? Because again, they want to make money from you, right? So they're going to suppress the reach so that you will want to run ads, right? And pay them money to boost the reach. Okay. So this is actually really normal in terms of engagement because again, Facebook does this intentionally. So how do you get around this? So what's the workaround, right? The secret is you actually want to post on your personal page. So when I did this exact same post on my personal page, you kind of see it went a little bit crazy, right? A little bit viral. I have 3,600 friends on Facebook. I got 153 likes, 53 comments, and 4 shares, which is pretty crazy. So if you're going to compare them, right? And I'm just going to divide my numbers on the personal page in half so that it's more comparable, right? You can see that I got, instead of I got 3 likes on the business page versus 75 likes on the personal page. I got 25 comments versus 0 comments. And I got 2 shares versus 0 share, right? That's 25 times the engagement, right? Which is totally insane. So I guess the moral of the story is, if you want a lot of engagement, post on your personal page plus your business page, right? But most of the engagement is going to be from your personal page. Now, one tip that I'm going to give to you is, I see a lot of people make this mistake when they learn about the secret. And the mistake is they will post on their business page and then share it from their business page to the personal page. Facebook still sees this and sees it coming from a business page, and they will still suppress the reach. Okay, so don't share from your business page to your personal page. What I personally do is I do a double post. I'll post to my business, I'll post to my personal, and then I'll copy and then paste it into my business, like the caption, and re-upload the images. So I'll just do a double post, one to personal, one to business. Yeah, so like I said, create it when you're posting, don't share it from your business page to your personal, just create a new post on your personal. Any questions about that? So Eva says, would it annoy people to see it twice? Because your reach is so low on the business side of things, like from the business page, I wouldn't even worry, because not a lot of people are actually going to see it, right? And then the odds of the same person seeing it on both platforms, right, are probably going to be low. And again, you want to remember that when something gets a lot of engagement, Facebook's going to push it up. So because my personal post is going to get tons of engagement, that will stay at the top, whereas my business page, my business post won't get a lot of engagement, and it'll get suppressed and go to the bottom of their feed. So yeah, I wouldn't even worry about that. Amber says, would tagging your business page on your personal page also affect engagement amount? I actually don't know the answer to that, but I suspect yes. Because again, one thing I do know for sure, when you're posting your personal page and Instagram notices you're using business words, right? Like marketing, sales, buy, discount, they're noticing you using certain business words, they will suppress the reach because it's being flagged as a business post, okay? So I suspect tagging a business will also be in that same category. Carmit says, how does Facebook suppress the post? It just shows it to less people, that's all. Basically, it'll show up on less people's feed. That's how they suppress it. Yeah. Laura says, is it not just your personal page friends seeing it? That is true. That is totally true. Yeah. But doesn't mean your friends aren't also your clients too, right? Or potential clients. Again, it depends on what you do, right? Like in terms of who your ideal clients are, right? Like if you're selling something to consumers or to businesses, right? If you're targeting consumers, right? Posting on your personal page is perfect, right? But if you're targeting businesses, maybe not so much, right? Unless you decide to be friends with a lot of your clients, right? Which I do. Any of my clients that I work with, I add them as a friend on Facebook. It's just a way for us to keep in touch and see what's going on with each other's lives. Oh, and then the last thing. If you're the type of person that doesn't want to post business things on your personal page, right? Or you don't have a very active personal page, meaning you don't post much on Facebook itself, right? Then the other option is to create a Facebook group. You can create a Facebook group for your business, right? On top of your business page. And now you can, and then the business a Facebook group will get way more engagement because it's not just you posting now, it's also your clients or people that are in this group can also do their own posts and comment and share. So yeah, the other way around it, if you don't want to be leveraging your business personal page for business, you can also create a Facebook group. Yeah. And I do that too. I'm sure, yeah. So I have like a VIP group for my photography business. Does anybody have any questions before I move on to Instagram? Okay, so let's get into Instagram. So again, with Instagram, I'm gonna give you guys 3 tips. So tip number 1 for Instagram, increase the reach of your posts by maxing out and mixing hashtags, okay? So with Instagram, hashtags are really important, whereas with Facebook, they're pretty much irrelevant on Facebook. So with Instagram, if you're gonna use Instagram and trying to get clients from Instagram, you wanna make sure you're using hashtags properly, right? So number 1, you wanna max out on your hashtags. Can someone tell me, or who wants to take a guess, what's the maximum number of hashtags you can use on Instagram? Okay, we got 30, we got 30, we got 30. Wow, we have a really smart group here. Why are you guys even here? You don't need me. Because again, I tried this in another group and they were all over the place with their numbers. You guys don't even need me. Well, you're correct. It is 30. Yeah, the magic number is actually 30 hashtags. Now, there's a lot of controversy out there because Facebook keeps changing their algorithm, and there's people that are saying right now, anyway, that Facebook doesn't like it when you use 30 hashtags, and they prefer if you use about 15 plus or minus. I did some research into this, and I couldn't find anyone that came up with a definite answer to this question. So all I'm going to say is try to use between 15 to 30 hashtags, right? In terms of like maxing out on your hashtags per post. Okay. So, I mean, here's an example back to the tiny house, right? Here's, I would write a caption, then I would put a bunch of dots, right? Just a little bunch of periods. And then I would add my 30 hashtags after that, right? And kind of bury the hashtags. Now, when you're using hashtags or including hashtags, you want to change it up and mix it up, right? You want to have some local hashtags. You want to have some global hashtags. You want to include your branded hashtag, and some community hashtags. Okay, so local hashtag is specific to a location. So, for example, I'm based out in Edmonton, and our airport code is YEG, right? So then I would go YEG photography, YEG photographer, YEG real estate, YEG headshots, YEG commercial photographer, right? So those are a lot of local based hashtags. Global would be without the local, designation at the beginning, right? So just simply photography, real estate, love, blue, sky, mountain. Those are global hashtags. They're not based on a location. And then a brand hashtag is basically your company hashtag, right? You should always have at least one company hashtag. For most people, it's just simply your name of your company, right? So like for me, it's hashtag Stephen Lee Photography or Stephen Lee Studios, right? If you have a tagline, you can also include your tagline as one of your company hashtags, right? So like, for example, KFC, it's finger looking good, right? So then they would have hashtag finger looking good, right? And then you want to also throw in some community hashtags. So community hashtags are usually associated with an account that is for the community, meaning it's not specifically for one person. And usually they'll have a theme. So for example, there could be accounts where the theme is pretty photos of Edmonton, right? And so, for example, in Edmonton, there's some accounts like Yeagger, Yeggger, and that account is simply for sharing beautiful photos of Edmonton. Or another one was Made in YEG. So that features anything that's made in Edmonton, right? And you want to use these hashtags because these accounts, and also the people that are behind that love these hashtags, will search for that hashtag, and you could be found. And if the owners of these hashtag like your image, a lot of times they'll be like, use our hashtag, and if we like your image, we will feature your image on our account, which has normally over 10,000 followers on them. Okay, so yeah, include some community hashtags, and I'll give you some examples. So yeah, here's some examples of like global versus local, right? So you got engagement versus YEG engagement, wedding versus YEG wedding, kitchen versus Edmonton kitchen, donut versus YEG donuts, right? Now, if you're trying to target people from all around the world and you don't care where they're based out of, then you want to use a lot of global hashtags, right? Because you want to reach people from around the world. But if you're a service-based photographer, right, or you have a company that is where you're trying to reach local clients, right? Like a lot of photographers, if they provide a service, they're only looking for people in their area because, let's say you're based out of Canada, you're not gonna fly all the way to Japan and do somebody's wedding there, right? And most likely they're not gonna hire you. They're rather gonna hire someone local, right? Yeah. So if you're targeting local clients, then you want to use a lot of local hashtags, right? Again, for example, let's just say I am looking for a donut shop in Edmonton. I'm not going to go hashtag donuts on Instagram, right? Because then also I'm going to see images of donuts from all around the world. Instead, I'm going to go hashtag YEG donuts and find out what are some donut photos that are from Edmonton. And if through that, I might find some donut shops, right? So, and then a photography example, right? If you're a wedding photographer, you probably, bride would probably search YEG weddings or YEG wedding photographer instead of hashtag wedding photographer, right? So again, use local if you're targeting local clients. Use global if you don't care about local and just want to reach people from all around the world. Okay, so here's an actual example of some of the hashtags I've used. And this was like for that tiny house, right? So I used my branded hashtag, which is my company name, right? Stephen Lee Photography. I threw in some global hashtags, right? It was an Airbnb. So I went hashtag Airbnb, real estate, tiny house, simple life, minimalist. I added some local hashtags, right? So I meant like my location, Edmonton, YEG, YG photography, YG photographer, YG small business, YG real estate. And then I threw in some community hashtags at the bottom, right? So made in YG, Yeagger, Yeg Loco, made in, oops, sorry, I did that twice. Made in YG. Yeah. So again, you want to mix it up, right? And hopefully it will help you get more people to find your post on social media and on Instagram specifically. Okay, number two, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Instagram algorithm. Because once you understand how the algorithm works, right? Meaning when you post something, what happens, right? How does Instagram decide who to show it to? And how does it decide, if I should have more people seeing this post or not, right? Once you kind of have an idea of how the Instagram algorithm works, then you can hack it basically, or take advantage of it and optimize your post for the algorithm so that you can get more reach on your post. Okay, so how does the Instagram algorithm work? Number one, when you post something, it shows your post to a small sample size based on who you engage with and who engages with you, right? So just because you have 1,000 followers doesn't mean when you post something, it's going to show to all 1,000 people, right? So maybe that's why some of you were saying that more follower doesn't equal more sales or more business, right? It's because in the beginning, when you post something, it doesn't show to everyone that's following you. it actually shows it to only a small sample size. Okay. And then based on those small sample size, it's going to pay attention to how much like it gets, how much comment it gets, and how much shares it gets. If it gets a lot of likes, comments, and shares, it's going to slowly increase it to more of your followers. Okay. So let's just say you post something, and let's say you have 1,000 followers. You post something and it reaches 100 of your followers. And if you get a lot of engagement, right, a lot of likes, comments, and shares, then it may decide to show to 200. And then if it still has lots of likes, comments, and shares, goes to 300, 400, 500, and then eventually 1,000, right? Like to everybody. The other thing it's also going to pay attention to is how much time people spend on your post. Okay, meaning when they are looking at your post, are they just simply looking at it and then scrolling next, or are they actually stopping and staring at it, right, and maybe engaging with it, right? So Instagram will also pay attention to how much time people spend on your post to determine if it's going to show to more people or not. And then if you're lucky and it really takes off and goes viral, then, and you're using hashtags, then your image or your post could be at the top of the search bar. Okay, meaning when people are searching for certain hashtags, like, hashtag donut, right? And your post gets huge engagement, then it's going to be featured for that hashtag, basically, when people are doing a search for that hashtag. Okay, so now that you can understand how the algorithm works, right? What are some takeaways, or what are some actionable items that you can take now that you understand how that works? Number one, you want to have a strong image, okay, or video if you're doing a video, because again, you want people to stop, stare at it, and then engage, right? Like, comment, share with it, right? If it's a really powerful image, they might want to share it, right? You want to encourage commenting. And the way you do that is you include a question in your caption, right? So with a lot of my posts, I'll always include a question, right? So like for example, back to that tiny house example, I included a question: would you live in this house, right? Would you live in a tiny house? Was my question, right? And I got a lot of people comment on it. And that's how I got a lot of engagement with that post. So when people are commenting, you also want to comment back, and you also want to comment right away. Don't like post something and then disappear and then come back to it in like 1 or 2 hours. When you post something, you want to stay there for the next 2 to 5 minutes, because if anybody comments, you want to comment back, because again, Instagram's paying attention to how much comments, how much like, how much shares your post is getting to determine how much it should increase the reach, right? So by you commenting, it's adding another, it's telling Instagram that, hey, that counts towards your comments, basically, like your total comments. And that's what Instagram's kind of tracking. The other tips, you want to write long captions, okay? And also create carousel posts. The reason why you want to do this is because if you write a long caption, people that decide to read your caption will spend more time on your post, right? Because it's going to take them a while to read everything, right? So write a little story if you want, right? Like a 2 to 3 paragraph story, right? The more time they stop and stare at your post, the more Instagram likes that and the more reach it's going to get, okay? And then a carousel, if you don't know what carousel is, it's like a slideshow, right? So where you're posting multiple image in one post. So now when they look at an image, they can't simply just scroll by. I mean, they could, but if they like the first image, they'll be like, oh, what else is there? And they go to the second one, the third one, the fourth one, right? And because again, they're spending more time on your post, Instagram likes that, and it's going to decide, hey, we should show this to more people, because people are stopping and kind of spending some time on your post. Okay. So those are like my 4 tips on how to get more engagement with your Instagram post. Okay. Any questions before I go to the last tip about Instagram?
Steven, I'm gonna chime in because I can and because I like you. But dude, you blew my mind with the commenting right away. I'm guilty. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I am 100% guilty of not commenting for like 2 or 3 hours, and then I didn't realize that was hurting me. So thank you for that. That I literally just learned that. So thank you for that.
No worries.
Yeah, not a question, but a comment. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, thanks for attending. Appreciate it. Okay. Gian says, does engaging on other posts increase your own? Okay, so remember I said Instagram will show your post to a small sample size, right? And that's based on who you engage with and who engages with you. So by you engaging with other people, they're going to start seeing your post, and Instagram's going to push your post to their feed. Yeah. So to answer your question, yes. So that's why with Instagram, you need to be social and actually interact with other people, not just simply post and not care about other people, and go check out other people's accounts and look at their images and comment and share. Yeah. So yeah, if you want to be sneaky about it and you want to kind of force your post onto other people's feed, start commenting on their or you want to get someone's attention, right? Like, if obviously they have to follow you first, but if you really want to get their attention and get them to see your post, right, then yeah, start engaging on their account, and then Instagram will start showing your post on their feed. Okay, last tip. It's called protect the grid. Okay, so what I mean by protect the grid. So when you post something, right, you're posting multiple images, it keeps adding to your grid, right? So you can kind of see here, this is one of my accounts. This is my personal account where I'm showing off my landscape stuff. And so then it basically puts all the images into like a collage, basically, right? And so what I mean by protecting the grid is making sure that your grid or your collage that's on your account looks good, right? Meaning they go there and they have a good idea of what you are and what you're all about. And this is important for new followers, right? Because generally people that are already following you, they don't really check out your profile that much, right? They're following you already because they like what you're posting. But if you have new people that are like checking you out, like, hey, someone recommended me to you, or somehow they found out about you, they saw one of your posts and they really loved it and they want to see if I should follow you or not, they're going to look at your grid to decide, what is your account about? What are the type of things you're posting? Do I want to see more of those types of images or content? And that's how they're going to decide if I'm going to follow you or not, right? So that's why your grid is super important, because it's like a quick snapshot of what your account is about, right? So when people see my grid, right, you look at this and you can clearly see, hey, this account is about someone who is a landscape and city photographer, and I'm going to see a lot of pretty photos of landscape on my feed if I follow this person. So I'm going to follow them, right? Okay, so let's compare a good grid versus a bad grid, okay? So on the left-hand side, which is actually my old account, what account used to look like, it was a complete mess, right? I would post things like back of the camera photos, a little bit of landscape, a little bit behind the scenes, some baby photos, chocolate photos, balloons, a headshot, a portrait, and some chocolate. So when people look at that, they're like, well, they could not make sense. Like, what is this account about, and why should I follow them, right? And they're like, well, if I follow you, I guess I'll see some photos of back of the camera, some chocolate, some babies, and some portraits and some balloons. I don't know if I want to follow you, right? On the right-hand side, when I cleaned it up, right, they're like, whoa, this guy is a couples photographer now, right? And hey, I might want to get couples photos one day, so I'm going to start following him, right? So you see the difference, right? Left-hand side are probably going to get very little followers unless they maybe know who I am, and that's the reason why they're following me, because we're friends, right? Whereas the right-hand side probably going to get a lot of strangers following me back, right? Okay, so when you are, trying to protect your grid, right? You want to come up with a grid layout, right? And if you're new, right, you're relatively new to Instagram, then I recommend just a simple layout, okay? And so with a simple layout, you basically have one theme and you stick to it over and over and over and over again. And that theme could be like a specific subject, right? Like on the left-hand side, you have nothing but photos of donuts, right? And they were intentional about that. They were only going to take photos of donuts. They didn't take photos of people. They didn't take photos of their space or their storefront or their logo or anything else. They decided they're only going to take photos of donuts, right? On the right-hand side, their theme is color-based, right? They decided all the photos we're going to take is either going to be white or gray, right? And that's it, right? So yeah, when you pick a theme, it could be color-based, subject-based, but whatever it is. For us photographers, right, it could just be simply like if you have a niche, then simply posting that one type of niche, like photos of that niche over and over and over and over again, right? So like if you're a dog photographer, you're posting nothing but dog photos. If you're a portrait photographer, you're posting nothing but pictures of people. If you're a wedding photographer, posting nothing but photos of people getting married, right? And things related to weddings, right? Yeah. If you don't have a niche, right, and you're all over the place, you're an everything photographer, right? Like how I was a couple years ago. That's okay too, right? But at least, and you could try the second option, which I'm going to talk about in a second, okay? And the second option is to do lines, right? So if you're an everything photographer, right, you might go three, like you can do horizontal, vertical lines, right? But for photographers, I would recommend horizontal lines is the easiest. That's what I do. I basically do 3 photos from one photo shoot session, because generally when I do that, the clients are wearing the same colors and the background is the same color, right? So then it's consistent in every line. So again, if you're an everything photographer, you could be like 3 people photos, 3 non-people photos, 3 people photos, 3 non-people photos, however you want to line it up, right? If you want to get really crazy and advanced, you can get into a checkerboard, right? Where it alternates every second post. You can do puzzles where you take one image and then you cut it up and then you strategically post them in a certain sequence so that it creates one bigger image when they go to your grid. Okay, this is a lot of fun. Don't go crazy and do this all the time. Do it every so often. Okay. And the other thing I recommend, if you're going to do a puzzle, to post all of them at once. Don't spread it out over like, let's say you're going to do 9 puzzle pieces. Don't do it over 9 days. Just do it all at once, because you're going to annoy people when they, like your followers that are going through your feed, and they're like, why are you posting this image that looks like crap, right? And they're going to maybe unfollow you. So also in your caption, warn them and let them know that, hey, this is part of a puzzle, right? And go check out your grid to see the whole puzzle, right? Another thing you can do too is you can go 1 of 9, 2 of 9, 3 of 9, 4 of 9, 5 of 9, etc. To again let them know this is a puzzle, right? So that they don't get pissed off and unfollow you because they realize all of a sudden you're posting crappy photos, and I don't want that on my feed. Yeah. If you want to do some puzzles, there is an app. There's a bunch of apps that will do this for you. You don't need Photoshop for this. There's one called Grid Maker for Instagram. If you can't find this, I'm sure if you type in Instagram puzzles or Instagram grid, you might be able to find something. Okay, so that's my lesson on protecting the grid. Hope you enjoyed that. Yeah, so make sure you pay attention to how your grid is laid out, and keep it a certain way, right? Like in terms of how it looks. Now, if you've been on Instagram for a while and you've been posting for a while, you don't need to delete all of your old posts that don't, belong or make sense. You can simply just from now on post a certain way so that it looks, it keeps your grid looking pretty and consistent, right? If you're looking at your grid and there's only a couple of photos that are out of place, like you took some behind the scene photos on top of your professional photos, then sure, delete them and then clean up your grid that way. But yeah, if your grid's a complete mess, don't have to go and delete everything. Just from now on, post, pick your theme and post based on your theme. Does anybody have any questions about that? Is anybody actually protecting their grid and have a theme? I know, Krista.
This guy. Oh yeah, that's right.
You're doing black and white, right?
Fully black and white, and
Yeah.
it was really hard to kind of narrow my focus and only post this one type. But now I actually just went and looked at my Instagram, and it's like, I'm not gonna brag, but I feel like I'm doing okay. It's doing pretty good. I like it. So
Good for you.
thank you for reinforcing my belief. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, it's hard because Chris says he decided to go black and white for his theme, and he really wants to post color photos, but he can't because it's going to break the grid, right? I mean, I'm sure you can do it every so often, one or two, here and there, just to change it up, or if something's super important you want to highlight. But yeah,
I can't do it, bro. I can't. Not anymore. I'm all in on this for at least a year, and then we'll see where things go from there.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like some people knew about this and had some kind of grid going, or a theme to their grid. Yeah, Chris, somebody wants to know what your Instagram account is, so maybe type it in the chat box, your handle, so they can check out your black and white. Okay, so we're on to our last topic for today. Okay, so social media is a crazy place, right? There's so much going on. It's constantly changing. It's a lot of work if you want to do it properly, a lot of time. Yeah, it's just like, who has time to be active on the different social media platforms and constantly be posting? And it's too much work, right? To be consistent and to actually be consistent enough that you can actually start getting business from it, right? Because as I think I mentioned, if I didn't, ideally on Instagram, you should be posting at least once a day. Ideally, if you're serious about it, you should be posting at least once a day, minimum 3 times a week. And then for Facebook, at least 3 times a week. Okay. So how do we simplify social media? I'm going to give you 3 secrets on how to simplify social media. Okay, number 1, you can schedule your social media post. So this is what I do. I used to try to schedule it for the whole month, but I've kind of decided I'm actually going to schedule all my posts for the week. So I'll actually block off 1 hour every Friday to schedule my post for the following week, for Instagram specifically, and then to plan out what I'm going to post to Facebook and to LinkedIn. Those are like my 3 social media: LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. So yeah, you can actually schedule your post. So there's a bunch of programs out there that you can use. I personally use Planoly. Planoly and Later are optimized for Instagram. And I know with Planoly, it also lets you post the same content to your Facebook business page. I'm not sure if Later will do that for you. And then Hootsuite is a great overall platform. I think it does Facebook and Twitter and Pinterest and a few other ones, but it's a pretty versatile scheduler. There's others out there, but these are like the 3 that are pretty popular. So I'll walk you through a little bit of the behind the scenes of Planoly, just to give you an idea and a feel for how to using a scheduler if you decide you want to go down this route. Okay, so if you go to Planoly, which is a website, you go on there, and this is actually how you actually post from a desktop to Instagram, actually. Yeah, so with Instagram, you can actually post from a desktop, and you don't have to do everything from your mobile. And this is how you do it. You use actually a desktop scheduler. Okay, so if you log in, you'll see this, right? When you import your images to post, it'll show up on the left-hand side, and then your calendar, when you do schedule something, will show up on the right-hand side. What's great about using a scheduler too, like this, you can actually move things around on the grid on the left-hand side because you can actually preview your grid. So if you care about how your grid looks, you can actually preview it on the left-hand side to see how you like it, things to line up. And then you would just time it, schedule it in a certain order to make sure it lines up that way. Yeah. So if you click on one of the posts to schedule, you'll see something like this. You can write your caption right in the, at the top, right? Write your caption. You can also grab your hashtag. So you can save hashtags that you want to use into like a little, they have a little section for hashtags that you can save. And you basically click on it to copy all the hashtags over, right? So that's going to save you time on having to type out all your hashtags or come up with them, right? So that's what I do. I write the caption, I add the hashtags, I add some extra hashtags that are specific to the post. Then you pick your day, pick your time, and pick auto post to Instagram, right? And then that's it. And then when that time comes, I get a notification on my phone that's been posted onto Instagram. So that you want to be there again, just in case you get comments. You gotta get the notification on your phone. You're like, okay, I need to check my Instagram just in case there's comments, and I need to reply to them. Okay, so that's scheduling your social media posts and also posting from a desktop to Instagram. Little bonus lesson there. The next thing I talk about is a simple social media strategy. Okay, and specific, just how to make social media simple, like in terms of like posting on social media, right? And specifically, I'm going to talk about my strategy and what I do. Okay. Obviously, I'm just going to give you like this one example of a potential strategy, right? And basically, my strategy involves about, I would say, it's about 2 hours of my time a week. I spend 2 hours a week, roughly, not on top of like commenting and replying, right? But simply posting and scheduling. So about 2 hours a week, and it covers my Instagram, my Facebook, and my LinkedIn. Okay, so this is what I do. So yeah, my simple social media marketing strategy, and it's about 2 hours a week. So every Friday, I block 1 hour off, and I basically schedule 6 photos for Instagram for the following week. And I use Planoly to do this. And basically what I'll do is I'll pick 3 photos from one photo shoot, okay? So that way I'll be featuring 2 photo shoots and I'll create my lines, right? I'll have my 3 in a row on Instagram, okay? So that's what I'll do. I'll take 2 photo shoots, find 3 images from each photo shoot, schedule them into Planoly, write the caption, add the hashtag, hit schedule, right? Then the 2 photo shoots that I decide to pick for Instagram, I will grab those images for those photo shoots, right? And put them onto my desktop, because those are the 2 photo shoots I'm going to feature on Facebook, on my personal, on my business, and on LinkedIn. Because the way I write my caption and the way I post on Facebook personal is the same as business page, is the same as my LinkedIn. So the content is actually the same for all 3 platforms, right? So again, I'll have those photos sitting on my desktop as a reminder to just randomly post those 2 sometimes during that week. Okay. Then, when I'm like, hey, I see them on Monday, I will post it on Facebook. Then I'll copy and paste, post it onto my Facebook business, and then copy and paste again, post it into my LinkedIn. Then I'm done. And then maybe 3 days later, I'll do the same thing for the second photo shoot. And then that is now I've got Instagram covered, Facebook covered, LinkedIn covered. Then those images that I've posted, either on Facebook or on Instagram, I will open up my phone, download them from the social media platforms, and then I will post them to Facebook stories, Instagram stories, and if I feel like it, LinkedIn stories. Okay. Again, I'm just sharing people, hey, check out these photos that I've done or this photo shoot that I've done. And then lastly, okay, and then again, when I do post, I will hang around for at least the next 5 to 10 minutes and comment on anyone's any comments that people are leaving. And then lastly, throughout the week, I'll randomly post behind, like just quick photos with my cell phone of like behind the scene photos, work related stuff, personal related stuff to stories. And that's really my social media marketing strategy. And that's it. So yeah, so that again, that takes about 2 hours a week. It looks like there's a lot of information in here. And it looks complicated, but yeah, it's actually again, it takes about 2 hours to do all this.
Question, please.
Yeah.
Without the scheduling, have you ever tried posting on Facebook or Instagram and then sharing that post to Facebook? Because I know there's a share button somewhere.
Yeah, I've done that. If you're going to do that, so basically you optimize your posts for Instagram, and then when it gets reposted to Facebook Business, what I highly recommend is you go into Facebook and delete the hashtags, because it makes your caption look very messy, because hashtags are very irrelevant on Facebook. Yeah. So if you want to do that, that's totally fine.
Okay, thank
The
you.
reason why I don't do that is because I know that most of my engagement is going to be coming from my personal page and not from my business page. So that's why I will manually post to my business personal page. Yeah. So that's why I don't do that. But no,
Okay,
you can
cool.
totally do that if you want to do a double post from Instagram to Facebook Business. Okay, so Laura has a question. Let's see here. Okay, so Laura's question is, does posting to your main feed versus stories, does one or the other get more views than the other? It really depends. It really depends, right? I know with Facebook, I believe it's the first image that you post will become the thumbnail, and that's what they'll see. So if they like the thumbnail, then you can get more clicks, right? Or if your thumbnail is very eye-grabbing, then they're going to click on it and you can get more views. But with Instagram, it's just your icon or your profile image that they'll see, right? So there's no indication of what to expect when they do click on it. Yeah, so it's a different way for them to engage with you, because also with stories, you can do multiple stories, right? Like you can do a bunch in a row, right? Versus just one. But again, the other problem is it's very quick, meaning they see for 5 seconds and then it goes away, right? So whereas with a post, they can sit there and look at it for a little bit longer, right? And also find it a lot easier. So I would say just as long as you're doing something, right? If you're not posting, at least do a story. Then that's fine. Then you're staying on top of mind. Yeah. Yeah, somebody wants to know what my Instagram account is. Yeah, if you want to check me out just to see, how a properly an account that's set up well, as a reference for maybe how you want to design your own, definitely check that out. So Stephen Lee Studio is my business one, which I put more effort into. And then Stephen Lee Photo is like my personal, which I don't spend as much time on. Yeah. And then if you want to look me up on Facebook, right, you can just type this into Stephen KHLI into the search bar. And then you can see what my business page looks like and what my personal page looks like as a reference on how to maybe do the same thing for yourself. Yeah. Okay, so last topic I'm going to talk about is how to automate social media. Now, this is not for everybody. I don't even do this, right? But some of you might be like, I don't want to deal with social media. I'm busy enough doing my own thing, and I'd rather have it automated, right? Just like hands off, I don't have to do anything, okay? If you want to automate social media, right? And this is like an advanced strategy for someone that's been maybe in business for a while or have a lot of money. what you do is you outsource, meaning you get someone else to do it for you. Okay. So when you do this, you need to outsource two things. You need to outsource your content, meaning what you're actually going to post. Now, for us photographers, we generally don't have to worry about finding a content creator because the photos that we take is the content for social media. So we're lucky in that way that we don't have to hire a content creator. We create our own content, right? The only thing is you just have to shift through that content and find what content you actually want to use for social media. And then second, you need to hire a social media manager, okay? And have them run your account for you. Now, if you decide to use a social media manager, you need to give them instructions on how to operate your social media, not just simply, oh yeah, do whatever you feel like, right? Because if you just let them do whatever they feel like, unless they have a lot of experience and this is what they do full time, they might not know how to do it properly, right? They might be, oh, I just know how to use Instagram. Oh, I just know how to use Facebook. And that's their social media manager. No, you want to give them a specific strategy on what to actually do and how to post and when to post and all this stuff. Now, if you're going to hire someone, you really need to look at your numbers again to make sure it makes sense. Okay. So I'm going to give you like two businesses and kind of compare them side by side, right? So let's say you have business one. They have 500 followers on Instagram. They do 20 posts that month. They get 2 inquiries and they get 1 sale. Okay. So then, let's say it's for a photo shoot and they charge $500 for a photo shoot. Okay, cool. So they make $500 that month in sales, right? But their manager charges cost them $300. So their net is $200, right? And for them to spend all that time, right, to get the 1 sale and pay someone $300 just to make 200 might not be worth it for them, right? They're like, I'm spending all this time, with this client doing a photo shoot and editing all the photos, and I'm only going to make $200. Nah, I don't think it's worth it for me to hire a social media manager, right? But then you got business number 2. They have 1,000 followers. They do 20 posts. They get 4 inquiries and they get 2 sales. Now they're making $1,000 from social media. They still have the same social media manager, which cost them $300. Now they're making $700 from the 2 sales. Okay, for business 2, it might make sense to actually hire a social media manager, right? And if you don't know what your numbers are and you really want to hire a social media manager, either maybe in the beginning, do it yourself and track your numbers, or try them out for a month or 2, track your numbers, and then decide if you want to keep them on or let them go, right? Because if the numbers make sense or not. So if you're going to hire a social media manager, make sure you look at your numbers, unless you're playing a long-term game and you're willing to take a loss now because over time you can get more followers and it's going to increase and you can get more sales for the same amount of work. Okay. Okay, so those are my lessons. What do you guys think? Well, did you guys enjoy that?
Bro, so good. Thank you. I appreciate it. I actually learned like 4 new things and I geek out on this stuff. So thank you for,
thanks.
It's so informative.
Very cool. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, Jennifer has a question. I don't really understand hashtags. Where can I find more info? Yeah, so basically hashtags, when you use them, it basically makes your image searchable for that keyword, okay? So if you use the hashtag, let's say hashtag family photographer, right? Then people can go into the search, like for the Instagram global search, that is, and they go hashtag family photographer, and then your image might show up because you use that hashtag. So it's just a search feature, and you should include the hashtag in your caption because all the other words that you're using that don't have the hashtag on it are not searchable on Instagram. Yeah. So it's just a way for new people to kind of find your image, basically. Okay, Amber likes the algorithm. Yeah, Jennifer, yeah, just come up with whatever hashtags you want to use. Yeah, there is a small list of banned hashtags. So if you're in, especially, they're generally no, either they're inappropriate or they're sexual. So if you're like in the boudoir space, right, make sure you double check what hashtags are not allowed and try not to use them. Okay. Yeah. Okay. If anyone else have any questions, let me know. I will stick around at the end. So I got a little surprise for you guys because you guys are awesome and I love helping people. So you guys came out here and you wanted to basically learn some secrets on how to use social media to grow your business. So my little gift for you guys, I actually have a little ebook for those that are interested, because social media isn't the only way to promote your business. It's actually it's more important than ever now because it's online, but it's not the only way. I could probably name, well, you can see with this what I'm about to give you. There's actually at least 50 plus different ways to promote your business, not just with again, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok. They're not the only way to promote your business. There's like more than that. So just to help you guys, I've created a little ebook to get you started on other ways to promote your business. So for those that are interested, here's a little link to download it. I will type it in the chat box so you don't have to, you can just simply click on it to get it. Okay, hope that works. Let me know if that doesn't work. I guess I can try it out too. Oh, sorry, something went wrong. Give me a second. I think I missed a capital there. I guess it's cap sensitive. All right, try that one. Let's see here. Yep, that should work. Let's see Dropbox showing up. Yeah, check that out. That's my little gift to you guys. Hope you enjoyed that. Okay, so what's next? Now that we spent almost 2 hours today just learning about social media. What's next, right? Like I said, there's more to growing your business, your photography business than just social media, right? And even if you're just focused on social media, we only spent 2 hours talking about social media in general, Instagram, Facebook. There's still so much more about Facebook I can talk about, so much more about Instagram I can talk about. There's 40 other ways to promote your business besides those two things. So I'm just curious, who would like to hang out with me and learn more tricks and secrets about getting clients for your photography business? I'm just curious, who else? Because again, like I said, there's more to growing your business than simply Instagram and Facebook. And even then, there's so much to Instagram and Facebook that I haven't talked about today. Today was just like I already like spent 2 hours on this topic and I haven't covered half of what there is to learn about those two topics. Corey says yes. Christine says yes. Chris says yes. Cool. Okay. Again, this is not for everybody, but for those that want to learn more, right, from me, I will actually give you an opportunity to hang out with me and learn more from me for those that are interested. Yeah. So I actually, for those that don't know, I actually have a little community that I've created for photographers that want to start and grow a photography business. And basically we hang out at least twice a month live. And I help you guys on your journey to growing your photography business and help you getting more clients. So if that is something that interests you, I actually call it the Unstoppable Photographers. So yeah, I have a little community called the Unstoppable Photographers that for those that want to hang out with me and learn more about different ways to grow your business. And in this little community, I actually, again, this is like everything that I'm going to be teaching you. I'm going to go more in depth about Facebook marketing, more in depth about Instagram marketing. I actually teach a 2-hour course just on those two topics. We talk about pricing, we talk about finances, we talk about sales and in-person sales. We talk about referral marketing. Next month, which is in May, we're going to talk about networking. And then after that, everything on the right-hand side, as you can see, we're going to talk about Google, we're going to talk about SEO, Facebook ads, Facebook groups, online marketing, websites and branding. And yeah, you can see running a business isn't easy, right? There's so much to learn about running a business that I could, if I wanted to talk about all this, we'll be here for next 7 days, right? Talking about this 24/7. Yeah, like I said, in this group, I already taught these courses. And if you join, you'll actually get access to the training on these courses. So Instagram marketing, Facebook marketing, referrals, business finances, pricing. And yeah, this is a little bit more detail about the group for those, again, those are interested. We hang out twice a month live, right? I do one of them, I teach you a business lesson for 2 hours, like one of the topics we just talked about. And then also go live to do some group coaching with you guys. Everything that I teach, it's all recorded and you'll have access to the replay. So if you can't show up live, you can just watch the replay. We have a Facebook community. So if you have questions, you can type your questions in there. Either myself or someone else will answer your question. And then I have little challenges for you guys to kind of promote your business, right? And help you get going. So then my question is, for those that are interested in this, my goal in this group is to help you get an extra client or two from the lessons that I'm going to teach you. So what is it worth to you to get an extra 1 or 2 clients in terms of dollar amount? If I could help you get an extra client or two, how much would that be for you? You can type your answer in the chat box if you want. Is it $50, $100, $200, $500? Okay, if people are a little shy, that's okay. Oh, Chris says, my clients are worth 2 to 5K. Wow. Okay. Okay. Well, I'll hopefully help you get at least 1 2K client. So yeah. So with a little membership, I actually normally charge $50 a month for this. But because this is actually something new, I started this back in November. I am actually charging only $30 a month for anyone that wants to check this out and join us. It is month to month. So if you don't like what you see, you can always leave anytime you want. But because you guys are awesome, and I'm going to do a little special for you guys because you attended my workshop and you attended it to the very end. You can come check out our group for only $15 for the first month. So basically 50% off. If that interests you, right, and you want to learn all this from me, everything to kind of help you get going on your business, learn about Instagram, Facebook, referrals, finance and pricing. And you can get all of this for just $15 for the first month. So who's in? Who wants to join me? If you do, here's some testimonials from some people that are already in my group. So we have Stephanie. She says, I already made so she made $2,000 on back-to-back sales on her boudoir session with in-person sales that I taught her. Another person, she actually reached 1,000 followers on Instagram in about 3 to 4 months. So yeah, we have a lot of great success in this little group. For those that are interested, type in unstoppablephotographers.com and then just make sure you use the promo code social media and you will get the 50% off discount for the first month. So yeah, hope you guys are going to join me. That's my class. So Christine says, what if I don't have a business set up yet? Well, you're in luck, actually. I actually just finished a course, which you can access if you want, where I actually teach you how to start a photography business. So maybe I should talk a little bit about that for those. Let's see here. Okay, I'll talk a little bit about that. Mhm. Give me a second. Let's see here, screen share. Okay, so this is my website. You can just type in StephenLeeStudios.com or StephenLeePhotography.com. It'll take you to the same place. Here, I'm just gonna log out of this. There we go. Okay, so if you go and check out my education, actually online courses here, I actually launched this at the beginning of this year. So it's actually called the Unstoppable Photographers Launch. And with this course, it's a course. It's basically there's 9 lessons in this, right? We go through, total of 9 lessons. And I basically show you how to start a photography business in 60 days. So you can kind of see the outline. Day 1, we talk about your name, your business name, your URL, and your email. Week 2, we talk about the technical side, legal side of things, I guess. So like registration, business licenses, GST, insurance. Week 3, we talk about branding, so your logo, branding, and business cards. For week 4, we talk about building your portfolio. Week 5, we talk about setting up yourself up on social media. Week 6, we talk about building a website. Week 7, we talk about creating your offer and pricing. Week 8, we talk about launching your business. And then week 9, we talk about marketing. So yeah, so for those that are interested in that, I will type, let's see here, I'll put my website on here if you want to check that out. Oops, I guess that's not clickable. Let's see here. Actually, I hope that works. And then, yeah, so if you want to sign up for that course, it's $250 for the course. You simply click on here, learn more. And then, yeah, enter your information and then hit complete and you're done. So when you do sign up for this, you actually get to be part of a Facebook group too. So again, if you need support or help, there is a Facebook group and I will answer any of your questions in the group, and all the students back from when I did launch this in March will also be in that group and that will help you out.